Let me give you a quick breakdown of the piece More Hair. Many thanks to you, Art, who inspired me to use that title in the first place. This is based entirely on the one interval. That's a chromatic step or a half step, and I quickly want to talk you through what I did and where this one occurs. Let's look at the bass clarinet here, because this pretty much shows what happens in all of the bass instruments. I'm starting off with the F right there, and I'm using the 1 to go up and create a little motor, and then as the final note I move down by 1, which is the E. Now we have some trills in the bassoons, and those are also based on ones. That's the E and the F, and also I'm going into the E as the bass note here. Then a little bit lower we have the brass section. And the interesting part here happens between the tenor trombones and the horns. The first one happens between the D flat and the C note. That is where the crossing takes place. And that's quite an interesting sound. Let me quickly play you this. Yeah, sounds pretty massive in there. The other one is actually showing up as a 13. And that happens between the G and the A flat up there. So that is one half step and an octave. And this usually sounds very dissonant. Here I just go for variation to some other structures, but you can spot quickly that I actually have some horizontal ones in here. So the D flat moves down by 1 into the C, and the F moves up by 1 into the G flat. And that all happens in the brass. In the strings here, we have a little bit of effect writing, and we have a pure chromatic line show up in the higher strings. That starts actually here on the E to the F, the G flat, the natural G. And I continue this line even in the next part. Let me play you these sections one after another, and I want to start with the strings section. So here we go. Okay, so next let me show you what the brass sound like. And last but not least, let's look at the woodwind section, consisting only of rather low instruments here in the woodwinds. So I hope that you enjoyed this little breakdown here, and I hope that you enjoyed the piece. That is just one example of how you can use the one interval to write fantastic emotional music, because that is what we do inside the circle of interval magicians.